our laws, we need to make it easier to determine who you are so we can hold you accountable. Or is this simply an opportunity to dox those public servants you disagree with? Why not create a list of where they live? How about who they're married to or their kids, right? Let's just get it all out there. We're going to cover this and more. And is this just Denver, again, going after law enforcement officers and not criminals? It's always criminals first. If you come to the city illegally, you break immigration law. Well, no, here's an apartment for 6 months. Here's a job. In fact, here's cash for food. But if you're a law enforcement officer that wears a mask, oh, no, no, no. You must be held to account. We'll get to all of this and more. Now is time for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, 31 and mostly cloudy in Denver as you listen to the Jeff and Billy Show. Expecting a high of 62 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, 2 people are dead and 1 person is hurt after an early morning house fire in Westminster near West 72nd and Marshall Court. Firefighters say they managed to put out the fire, but then found 2 people inside the home. They were dead. A 3rd person was taken to the hospital. No word yet on their condition or how the fire started. A deputy is recovering after a pursuit in Douglas County following an armed carjacking in Arapahoe County last night. The suspect vehicle was located in Highlands Ranch and was chased until it ended near County Line in Santa Fe. The suspect allegedly fired at deputies who returned fire and wounded the suspect. The suspect was taken to the hospital and a passenger in the vehicle was arrested. A Douglas County deputy was wounded but expected to be okay. The investigation continues. Barry Morphew pleaded not guilty Monday to killing his wife Suzanne in 2020.
Governor, at this time, Mr. Morphew does enter a not guilty plea.
Officials,
yeah, good luck, dude.
Yeah, right?
I've been following this case.
Yes,
this guy's
you have.
As guilty as it gets.
Absolutely. And they say he hit her body, of course, in San Luis Valley and wasn't found for over 3 years. So, as you said, Jeff, good luck. Morphew gave up his right to a speedy trial. Now a jury trial is tentatively set for October.
My guess is this thing's going to go the way the dentist trial went.
Right. Absolutely.
Dude puts up a defense and then within 5 minutes of jury deliberation.
Right. Exactly. Takes longer to get to the courtroom. Yep, you're right. The DJT administration is keeping a close eye on Iran as anti-regime protests continue in the streets. A bulletin from the State Department urges U.S. citizens to leave Iran, prepare for communication blackouts, avoid demonstrations, and stock up on essentials. 47 is reviewing military options if the death toll continues to climb among protesters. He's also announced tariffs on any country that does business with Iran. The Clintons, Bill and Hill, could be held in contempt of Congress if they don't show up for a House committee hearing in the Epstein investigation. The Clintons were originally ordered to appear before the GOP-led committee in December, but asked that the date get pushed back to today, January 13th.
I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody.
I still can't believe that happened. Can you? I mean,
I'm so glad you played that audio.
I gotta play it again, just one more time. I hope it'll.
I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy. I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.
How stupid are we? I haven't heard that for, 2 years? I didn't even know I was going to play it until like 30 seconds ago, and I'm like, oh, I cannot believe that actually happened.
She's going to be before Congress, huh? Wow.
Oh, man.
Do you remember that movie Napoleon Dynamite?
You know what? I never saw it.
You never
Everyone
saw it?
talks about it. Yeah.
So when Kip, the brother, ends up dating this black lady, and then he ends up changing his entire persona, and has the do-rag on and the gold chains and all that stuff.
Did he change?
And someone, I just retweeted it, but there's this scene where the two of them are standing together, and someone posted, "I'm going to tell my children this was the Walls-Harris campaign."
That's great.
The Democrats never disappoint, do they?
Oh, man.
It just breaks my heart as voters are like, who should run our country and our state? Them.
Right. Oh, my God. Who coached her up on that? Who suggested that she do that? Wow. Man, that is far worse than it was even a year or two ago, 5 years ago.
That should be her legacy.
Yes, it really should.
Create a museum where you press a button and an animatronic. I can see it as a Simpsons episode. An animatronic Hillary Clinton says that.
There's your alarm,
dude. Tired.
There's your alarm clock right there. You were talking about
that's right.
yesterday. Oh my goodness. DJT heads to Michigan today to talk about his ways, the ways his administration is making America affordable again. Caroline Levitt says 47 will kick off his visit with a stop at a Ford factory that's producing more F-150 trucks because of tariffs. After that, he's scheduled to address the Detroit Economic Club. Google parent company Alphabet is the latest company worth $4 trillion. The company reached the $4 trillion market evaluation Monday when shares jumped about 1%. All right, last night, you may have seen it, the Steelers and the Texans, neither team looked good for the majority of the game, but it didn't matter. One team's going to win, and the Texans did just that, 30-6. Head coach D'Amico Ryans right after the game in the locker room.
Hey, how about them Texans? Hey, man, couldn't be more proud of you guys, man. To come here, very tough place to play, and the way we finish the game is how we operate. Offense, for you guys to go down, drive the ball, run it, keep running. They know we're running it. We know we're running it. And the drive, how we finished that was outstanding by you guys. All right, way to bounce back. Didn't start pretty, but it don't matter, man. We finished the right way. So
well, you got that right. 30-6 once again, the final, and they move on. Broncos continue preparation for the Bills Saturday at Mile High, 2:30 in the divisional round. Billy, what have you heard? What uniforms they're wearing?
No, I haven't, but I have heard we got the early game on Saturday, which kind of sucks, but that's okay.
Yeah, I do like that. I actually like that.
This is a personal pain point for me, and Jeff and I were talking about it off air.
Yep.
My brother is going to fly back into town. He was here this last weekend, but he's going to fly back into town so we can go to the game this weekend.
Wow.
But he had pre-booked, because again, good deals on flights. That's why he's like, "Ooh, we know the division game is going to be this weekend." So he booked this in like over a month ago, and got a really good deal on the flight. But it lands at 4 o'clock on Saturday.
Oh,
I know.
on Saturday?
Yes, and here's the problem: the one game. The single game on the division weekend, and we knew that when he made the reservation. And so we're now debating, do you pay to get in? Because there is a flight that would arrive around 12:30, which would be better. But do we pay for the change? There's only a handful of seats left, and so it's that.
But the
supply and
game's
demand
at
issue.
2. If the flight lands at 4, you miss the whole thing.
Exactly. That's the problem. That's the problem we got here.
I don't feel no ways tired.
Yeah. The one game, again, when we were planning this, the one time that would screw up our entire plan from over a month ago, that happened.
I'm following you.
Exactly. That's why we're screwed. So we're trying to figure that one out.
Man.
Yeah, I know.
That stinks. But
you have no choice. You got to pay.
yeah.
Or just not come.
I know.
Yeah,
That's
you
what we're,
gotta do
he's
it.
like, how badly and what is it? And so we're kind of balancing that out. So
I have
Yeah.
no idea, but I really wish both these teams. I wish the Broncos would wear their throwbacks from the 90s, 80s, 70s uniforms, and
Yeah.
the Bills wear their 70s throwbacks. That would be so
that
cool.
would be really cool. I think that whatever we were wearing last time we lost in the playoffs, don't wear those. Whatever
hear
it is.
you.
And again,
It's probably the
I'm not
stupid
superstitious.
pumpkin
but yeah,
uniforms.
Exactly. I'm not superstitious, but in that case, I'll make an exception.
You guys
There
want
you
to
go.
hear something crazy about C.J. Stroud?
Yeah, what?
Bro wasn't alive when 9/11 happened.
Yeah,
geez.
That's how
that-
young.
he's a
That's how
youngster, yeah.
young
Wow.
he is.
That is
Absolutely.
crazy. Also has a really
Yeah,
weird
he is a
throwing
youngster.
motion. Really weird throwing motion.
Yeah, he does. He has. It doesn't go behind his head.
No,
at
it's like
all.
a shot put. It's really
It
strange.
is. It is.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
And if I was a wide receiver, it would take me
Absolutely.
some time to get used to that as far as timing. Because he
No
just kind of
doubt.
like pushes it at you. He doesn't throw it at you. He just pushes it
Yep.
at you. Yeah, it's very strange.
his feet are weird too when he throws it.
Yeah, it
absolutely.
is, but it works. Whatever works, man.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. All right, the Maple Leafs skate past the Avs 4-3. The final 29 in Broomfield, 30 in Centennial, 31 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Bill. It is Tuesday. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your KNUS forecast for the Denver metro area calls for a cool, dry, pleasant winter morning, more like a fall morning as temperatures will be in the low to mid 30s. Fall-like temperatures today, highs again near 60 degrees. Mid and high level cloudiness, dry, breezy conditions, mid 30s for your Tuesday night. Mid and upper 50s for highs Wednesday and Thursday. Low to mid 30s Wednesday night, low to mid 20s Thursday night as a cold front moves in. Friday, a chillier and seasonal January day, highs low to mid 40s. I'm meteorologist Mark Huer in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
All right, Denver considering banning ICE agents from wearing masks to, quote, clearly state our principles, unquote. They can't do this. The Supremacy Clause is going to step in and overrule this. But the city council woman, Flor Alvidrez, and Chantel Lewis presented the idea for a potential city ordinance during a committee meeting on Monday after fellow council members signaled general interest in the concept. Alvidrez committed that she and Lewis plan to formally introduce the bill with a few tweaks. Masked, unidentified enforcement undermines due process, escalates fear, increases the risk of law enforcement impersonation, and erodes public trust for communities and law enforcement alike. A presentation prepared for the meeting indirectly referenced ICE agents, calling the face coverings of the masks they often wear during operations, quote, an intimidation tactic, unquote. During the conversation, council members specifically called out the immigration enforcement officers. I don't expect this to do anything as far as changing ICE's behavior, but what it would do is clearly state our principle as to how we believe you do behave. I find it a little ironic that progressives that wanted to force everybody into masks are now forcing you out of your masks. Seems like the government overreach continues, just in a different direction. Force. It's always got to be force. But I understand the concern of not wanting to have government officials totally masked up in order to be able to hold them accountable. But to me, it doesn't seem like they're interested in holding people accountable. I think what they would wish to do is dox them and intimidate them and harass ICE agents, because that is what the left does. They go out there and harass them on a daily basis, and in fact have shot at ICE agents. So should an ICE agent be able to go home and feel safe and not be harassed? I mean, progressives have showed up outside Lauren Boebert's home and protested out there. So I see it a bit as hypocritical that the left wants to hold law enforcement accountable, or claim they want to hold law enforcement accountable, but I think what they really want to do is harass, intimidate, protest outside homes, and seek to get people to not work for ICE anymore. I think that's the real motivation. So I just don't see it as genuine. Bill, what are your thoughts?
Oddly, like you, I do see it as hypocritical. I think that given their reasons and concerns for it, and the thing is, I share their concerns. I think it is absolutely ridiculous that we have law enforcement officers, and regardless of the branch, wandering around with masks on their faces. That is, for me, a very, very scary development, because as a childhood fan of sci-fi, in those dystopian futures, almost to a T, law enforcement wears masks. Almost to a T, they cover their face and they become anonymous. And that's part of how the intimidation and the crowd control and keeping people in line functions, because they become this amorphous version of a guard. The easiest one that can come to your mind like now is the stormtroopers in Star Wars. That's, those are masked law enforcement agents. That's basically what it is. And that worries me about the masks. But I believe that you're right, Jeff, that it is hypocritical in the manner of this is a solution that doesn't fix the problem. The city council is saying the problem is the law enforcement officers covering their faces. No, the core problem is the doxing of the law enforcement officers, and as you talk about, Lauren Boebert, and and doxing of people involved in immigration, and people involved in our judiciary, and people involved in medical care, and people involved in long list. It continues. But think about the long list of people who we have publicly, and I'm using the we as the royal we, and we'll get to the phones here in just a sec. Hang on with me. I got on line one. I got to put you there. I'll be there in a second. I'm using the royal we, but think of the long list of the people that we have doxed and made their home addresses public. When Donald Trump was going through the legal problems under the Biden administration, dox the judge, dox the attorney, dox the daughter of the judge, and we've done that. We've done that with abortion doctors, but we've also done that with people that are judges that are more on the conservative side. We've done it with lawmakers. That's where we are. Saying that you can't wear a mask inside of Denver proper doesn't prevent the core behavior. This is a solution that is wrong-headed, but I'm not surprised that the Denver City Council would come up with a stupid solution that is wrong-headed, that doesn't seem to answer the problem. Seems to be actually exactly what they do 90% of the time. They find something, and then through their emotions, they decide this is going to be the solution, and it's not the correct solution at all, nor does it actually deal with the problem. But they pass something, they pat each other on the back and feel like they've done something good, and they go out and go to their coffees and teas and tell each other what a wonderful job they're doing. And it's stupid. The issue is the doxing. That's what you go after.
And a good point here from 6728 texting in. In many ways, federal law enforcement has to wear masks in order to protect them from cartel activity as well. Under the initial draft of the bill, the Denver Police Department would be tasked with arresting any officer who violates the ordinance. Good night. Not only are we one of the top states for bank robberies and car thefts, we're going to task DPD with arresting ICE officers who violate the ordinance. After council members voiced concerns about those potential arrests, Alvidarez said she and Lewis plan to change the enforcement mechanism to a ticket. You want to be that DPD? You want to be that guy? Goes out there and hands out tickets, not to open air drug users, but to ICE agents who are wearing masks because they don't want cartels to figure out who they are. Good night. Let's go to the phone lines. Marcus Aurora. Good morning, Marcus. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Good morning, guys. Hey, I was going to say something fast. Aurora City Council's talking about banning ICE from Arapahoe County. And so I found that interesting. I hope they lose their funding then. But on that masking, here's what I believe. Okay, fine. If the police officers in ICE can't wear masks, protesters don't wear masks either. And if they do, they're arrested.
There you go. Right?
Interesting.
Right? Well, I mean, you can't hide who you are.
Interesting. And I like where you're thinking about that, Marcus, because, and agree or disagree with you, I think you have taken the premise of what the Denver City Council says is the danger and the threat and the necessity in order to not have these individuals in public because we need to be able to identify them. All of that would hold true for the protesters as well. Yeah, nicely done. Yeah,
Marcus, I
Good job,
appreciate
man.
the call.
Well
Thanks
done.
so much. Marcus's line will be open, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Jacqueline texted in, yes, but don't forget, the Lone Ranger wore his mask. Hi-ho, silver, away.
Oh, you made my heart so happy, Jacqueline,
Well
with that
done,
reference.
Jacqueline.
You have to. Oh, that's so cool.
Speaking of Dan Caplis and the Dan Caplis Law text line, Dan suggests you should choose a lawyer who shares your values because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about you to everyone involved in the case. Dan Caplis, the son of a police officer and a former seminarian who's dedicated the last 40 years of his life to helping people who've been hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado state history. Dan Caplis Law, the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Caplis Law's serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call. Here's the phone number, 303-770-5551. 303-770-5551, or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S Law.com. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Denver City Council going limited government. We got to expose each one of these ICE agents for who they are so we can hold them accountable. We're all about limited government. Or is this just an opportunity to dox ICE agents, to intimidate them and to keep them from doing their jobs? Denver City Council considering banning ICE agents from wearing masks.
Now, shout out to the caller that suggested if these masks are banned, what they need to do is issue a series of those novelty fake glasses, big nose, and mustache. And then everyone walks around with those on. That'd be funny as heck, honestly. That would be really, really funny. If I saw something that showed with all those, that'd be really good.
Well,
I like that.
And I think there's a really important point here brought up regarding the cartel activities, right? Like if you're an ICE DEA agent, you're on the front lines of some of the most serious battles this country's facing regarding cartels. You don't want them knowing who you are and where you live and all that stuff because, you know, a little hippie from Boulder is going to do one thing. A cartel member is going to do something else to you. So is this for the safety and well-being of ICE agents that we cover their faces up? Let's go to the phone lines. Lynn in Evergreen. Good morning, Lynn. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Oh, good morning, Jeff and Bill. Okay, yes, definitely for the safety of our law enforcement officers because I don't know if you heard this, but recently I heard that retailers are using face identification technology for anyone who comes in and out of the stores. It's not just the cameras in the parking lots now. They're actually using, identification technology. And it's going into AI, and it's recorded, kind of like fingerprints, to be used at a future date. Now, the question is, can they do this without telling you they're doing it? Some of the retailers do, some of them don't. And they put a sign out that says, oh, by the way, we use face identification technology. If you don't want that, shop somewhere else. So same thing, safety of our law enforcement people. The masks prevent that face identification technology doxing, and putting our law enforcement officers in threat of retaliation.
Now, Lynn, the question I have for you there is the problem or the danger seems to be the doxing.
Right.
Okay, now if the problem is the doxing, why are we not focusing on the doxing and instead focusing on the masks? And what I mean by that is if the issue is the doxing, then that's where we need legislation. That's where you need more law enforcement, our punishments for people that are doxing if we want to prevent it. The problem I have is when we talk about the idea of whether or not we're going to use masks or not use masks, I see that as a salve that is just put over the top of a wound. It's not actually dealing with the wound. It's just something that we're going to put over the top to make us feel better and to not have to deal with the problem at this point in time.
Well, yeah, but that all boils down to AI technology. The people that are using it, government is not the only one using AI technology. It's everywhere now, on your phones, on your computers. Anyone can use AI to get face recognition and doxing of people they don't like.
I'm intrigued by how you could make a limited government argument on the banning of face masks, because I could see an avenue in which we as Americans go, if you work for the government, you answer to us, we the people. So no masks.
Well, what about protesters?
Yeah,
why
sure.
are they allowed to wear masks?
But they're not government, and there's a strong history in America of writing under pseudonyms, for instance, to keep your identity. So there's this kind of unique aspect of American culture that's anti-government and definitely limited government, and could say you go to work for the government, we get to know who you are.
Well, no, the government gets to know who you are, but AI technology is expanding in leaps and bounds.
Is that a good thing, Lynn?
No,
the government
it's
gets
not
to
a
know
good
who
thing.
we are. Shouldn't we know who the government is?
All you have to do is sign up for AI technology, and you get all of these perks that you don't get with, regular internet. But, there's bad actors out there who are using AI technology for bad things.
Yeah, we're going to head the direction
one,
of Minority
one is
Report.
Face technology. Face recognition technology. That's why I say, let them wear
Do you
masks.
like that? I could definitely see why stores are doing that, because if you've been shoplifting in the past, whoop, 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 now we know exactly the minute you walk in. It's like that movie Minority Report where Tom Cruise has to get new eyeballs because the technology reads your eyeballs, and so the government was trying to find where he was and track him, and so he ends up having to go get brand new eyeballs.
I know. AI technology is way beyond our understanding. Kind of like God. AI technology leaps and bounds. I mean, boy, it's scary, but it's not scary. You can't stop it. But that's why I say, yes, let them wear masks, because they're in danger of being attacked, doxxed.
Lynn, I think you're right. Lynn Evergreen, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks,
303-696-1971. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. I'm opposed to the ban on masks. I am. But I'm intrigued by arguments and principles and beliefs. And I can absolutely see an argument being made that we want to know who our law enforcement officers are. And there's a strong kind of limited government vein in this country. And so you don't get to hide behind a mask. But at the same time, these guys are fighting cartels that would love to know exactly where these guys live. And so how do you protect their safety while at the same time maintaining civil liberties? Interesting question. I mean, they have flock cameras that can track your little license plate car everywhere it goes. Do we have the same ability to know who's governing us? Interesting. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Let's talk Black Eyed Pea of Colorado. Love this restaurant, locally owned and run by Steve and Michelle. With 8 locations, actually now 9 locations, there's sure to be one near you. They just opened up their brand new restaurant in Fort Collins. How awesome is that? 807 East Harmony Road. This is the restaurant you want to take the family to. Keep it in Colorado. These are people I'm proud to support, and you can too. Take everyone out to eat at the Black Eyed Pea. It's home-style cooking worth going out for. It's our go-to place for lunch after church on Sundays. They make everything from scratch: ranch-style pork chops, mushroom Swiss chicken, ribeye steak, St. Louis ribs, the mile-high meatloaf. They've got daily specials and senior discounts. The Black Eyed Pea has what your family is hungry for. Black Eyed Pea also does catering. Your dinner party, rehearsal dinner, wedding reception, or company event will be a success when you look to the Black Eyed Pea. Hear me on this. I love everything about this restaurant. Visit Black Eyed Pea near you. Their website, blackeyedpeacolorado.com, blackeyedpeacolorado.com. Let's go to Frank in Evergreen. Good morning, Frank. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Hey, good morning. Quick comment about Greenland. Do you guys happen to know how Iceland became independent from Denmark?
Ooh, no. Was there like a William Wallace figure? Did he charge the fields of Falkirk?
No, actually, and this is good because this is the way Greenland could do it too. Very easy. When Hitler invaded Denmark, the premier the leader of Iceland wrote a letter to the Queen and the PM of Denmark saying, "We're not part of you anymore," and that was the end of it. Greenland could do the same thing if Trump offered them. I mean, right now they're offering 100,000. I say knock it up to $1 million, it'd be a done deal. $65 million, 65,000 people, $1 million each would be chump change. And we really do need Greenland, regardless of what. Jeff, I'm kind of disappointed in you on this too. Think about it. I'm hoping both you guys are around when your kids and grandkids are in a shooting war with China and Russia because we didn't take Greenland. And I think you need to increase your vision of the future.
Frank, walk me through why we need to take Greenland from a NATO ally.
Do you have a globe in front of you, Billy?
Frank,
Have
I'm aware of where Greenland is. What's the argument?
Okay.
What's the argument?
Well, basically, all the missiles that will come from Russia at some point, if we do get in a shooting war, go across Greenland. And we do have a base up there, but Denmark does not allow us to have any significant weaponry. It's strictly a monitoring base. And think back. We have Alaska, right? Are you familiar with the Seward's Folly situation that Lincoln encountered? Lincoln, another great American president, another visionary American president, who the Democrats fought all the way. First Republican president. He got us Alaska. Where would we be without Alaska today?
Again, I'm hearing a lot of things here, but I'm not hearing this is why we need to have Greenland. I mean, they're a NATO ally.
Billy.
Frank, I know where Greenland sits. And we could negotiate with our NATO ally the idea, if we really think that there are going to be nuclear missiles headed over the top, to add them there. That is absolutely a possibility, but it doesn't necessitate us taking land from an ally. They are already an ally. We have access to the land currently.
Yeah. This is, I know you're not a Democrat and you refuse to be tagged as a liberal or like that, but this is the way the Democrats and liberals think, Billy, what you're saying.
Frank, hang on a sec.
We can just negotiate.
Frank, so what your idea is, so you're literally, it's the idea of might makes right, that because we want the land, even though it belongs to a friend and another sovereign nation, we can just take it because we want it?
No, I'm saying the offer's $100,000 now, so it goes to $1 million. We get it for $65 million. Are you kidding me? The Greenlanders would take that in a blink of an eye. Denmark hasn't done anything
you think that
there.
we need to give people that live in Greenland $1 million in order to get the land?
$1 million each, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you think? Okay,
$65,000.
Got a question for you. If the government
can
hand
be
out
65 million.
Hang on a sec.
There's not 65 people that
But again,
live there.
hang on a sec though. But the idea of millions, it would be
my math was bad.
I know, but again, it'd be a lot more than just that 65 million, but more than that. Explain to me how in this time of debt and deficits, how the U.S. all of a sudden has enough money to hand millions of dollars to potential citizens. And if it does, why do the actual citizens that are in America right now not also benefit from the largesse? Make the now that's the problem you're going to run into, Frank, is the idea that you have enough money from the Treasury to hand these potential citizens $1 million, but the actual citizens that are here now don't get anything. That's going to be a problem.
There's a fund called right now from the tariffs. There's a fund called we have the Internal Revenue Service, which steals money from you and me out of our paychecks, and now there's a fund called the External Revenue Service. Have you seen the balance on that? Besides, we can always spend that money.
Frank, here's the thing. The funny thing is they can call it the External Revenue Service, but you and I both know tariffs come from internal taxes. They're based on consumers.
No, I don't know that.
Them. Oh, well, I'm sorry.
That's
then
another
you need
conversation,
to
Billy. We can have that someday.
Then maybe sit down and spend a little more time on economics. We don't have to do that today.
Yeah, maybe you should as well, because I think you're missing a big piece of it.
No, tariffs are paid by the importer and are passed along to the consumer.
Billy.
No, that is a fundamental. Frank, that is a fundamental. That is a fundamental. That is a fundamental
knowledge, and
Frank.
That is you're a master.
Frank, I'm not sitting here saying I'm a master and expert. It is a fundamental principle of tariffs. They are paid by the importer, and the consumer pays them. That's a fundamental principle.
This is what Democrats and liberals believe. Yes, Billy. That's what they believe.
No, Frank, that's an economic principle. I'm done with this. If we can't agree on basic economic principles that comport with reality, Frank, we can't continue to have a discussion. You are refusing to acknowledge that the sky is blue. This isn't about liberal or Democrat or conservative or Republican. The economic laws don't change based on your political affiliation. Tariffs are a tax on consumers. That is a fundamental principle. It is making internal goods more expensive. That is the purpose of them, to make the product more expensive so that you buy something else or make a different choice. That is fundamentally what they do, and they're paid by the importer and passed along to the consumer. That is ridiculous. It's not a matter of a political opinion. It is an economic fundamental principle. That's like arguing over the speed of light. It is stupid, Frank, and if we can't come to basic agreement on reality, the conversation can't go anywhere, man.
All right, Jason in Denver, Trump can't do anything with Greenland unilaterally because of constitutional concerns. Congress will need to approve any takeover or purchase. Why do we need Greenland now? After all this time, why now? The lost jockey texting in. The lost jockey.
Yeah,
Are you actually a
one.
jockey?
I have no idea. Yeah, the question is, why is it now versus anywhere else? And is it, it's what are we scared of? What's possibly going to happen? And again, they're an ally.
Putin, right?
I know.
Look what he did with Ukraine.
But the idea of, that, on the other side of the country, Russia's a hell of a lot closer than they are to us between the other side. We're talking about the East Coast. They're a hell of a lot closer to the West Coast than they are to the East Coast. If we're worried about proximity and danger.
We got Alaska out there.
I know, but proximity and danger would be on the other coast. Yet if it's proximity and danger, why are we mad about Greenland? And again, it's an ally. There's nothing fundamentally that we need for defense that couldn't be implemented inside of Greenland with an ally. We don't need to go and get it. This is just silly. It's absolutely silly.
Economically, Greenland is heavily reliant on aid from Denmark, amounting to nearly half of the territory's total public revenue. Interesting.
Yeah.
So is Denmark doing enough to capitalize on the great opportunities that Greenland has? Interesting.
Yeah. I saw a piece that was written yesterday coming out of Greenland that said America is offering every person in Greenland $100,000, or look at it another way, one visit to an American doctor. That was the fundamental idea, was that, do you understand, if we became part of America, the fundamental changes to life that we would happen? And they focused on our healthcare system. It was an interesting read. The idea that $100,000 can be one illness, one doctor's checkup, one pregnancy. That's what they're paying you. And when you put it that way, tell me that Greenland's going to go, oh, this sounds like a wonderful deal.
It is highly taxed. So maybe their taxes will get lower and more economic opportunity with Greenland and their development. So, well, we're talking that. We're talking Denver, plus the legislative session kicking off next week or Wednesday. Tomorrow, we're going to talk with Ty Winter coming up about that, as well as Colorado ponying up $5.4 million to pay a pro-life organization. What is all this? We've got so much more to cover. Let's talk modern rugged leather. From city streets to mountain trails, your gear should go wherever life takes you. That's why in modern rugged leather, every bag is handcrafted from premium, responsibly sourced leather, designed to look sharp, last long, and tell a story of its own. Each stitch, buckle, and strap reflects timeless craftsmanship and is backed by a lifetime warranty, because quality shouldn't quit when the adventure begins. Whether it's in the boardroom or the back roads, modern rugged leather helps you carry confidence every step of the way. These are absolutely the most beautiful leather bags I've ever seen. Modern rugged leather, modern style, timeless durability, backed for life. Look, life's going to take you places. Make sure your gear keeps up. Could take you to Greenland, new opportunities, or Venezuela. Look at all these opportunities. Shop the full collection and find yours today at modernrugged.com. Again, that's modernrugged.com. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Text messages hot.
Yeah, they are.
Good night. Iggy, nothing green about Greenland. Brad from Parker. Why now? Because it would break up NATO. I'm not sure Trump wants to necessarily break up NATO.
But I think
Breadman saying...
would, though, because you're taking sovereign territory from an ally that dissolves the treaty, pretty much. You don't go and take stuff from your friends when you have a treaty with them.
Breadman thinks that the reason to take Greenland is to prove to other NATO countries that they need to increase or improve their military. Huh.
Because they should be afraid of us. That's the scary part. If you're saying
maybe they'll step it up in Greenland. I've read The Art of the Deal. I think Trump's negotiating here. I think it would benefit America to have Greenland. I don't think it's necessarily a detriment. But I also am not sure that I just don't see military action happening here. I know he's saying that. I know he's talking that way, but I don't see that going that way.
The thing for me is this. The reason that you sign treaties, the reason you have organizations like NATO are exactly the things we're talking about. Because we want to have access to the territory that is not ours, that we want to work against a common enemy and have a shared defense to share the risk and to spread influence and also intelligence gathering and more in order to prevent the expansion of that enemy. That is exactly the purpose. Everything that Trump talks about us needing Greenland is exactly the reason that NATO needs to exist and that we need to have that type of relationship. All of that can be accomplished without the U.S. being in charge of Greenland. All of it can be.
Do you think there's a financial benefit to us having Greenland?
Could be, but here's the other idea. I'm pretty certain that if we came into Greenland and said, wow, we would love to bring our mining companies here and do this and this and this, and that we would be paying the property taxes and we would be employing people in Greenland, they'd probably go, sign us right up. Expansion of an industry in our country that would employ more people and add to the tax base. Wow. That sounds like a really, really good idea. So, yeah, if we would be capitalist forward, it'd probably be a heck of a lot more effective than militaristic forward.
I think he's just negotiating with him, but we'll have to see. I think coming through all this, we'll be better prepared to take on Russia, China, and the challenges around the North Pole. So let's let this negotiation play itself out. I think it'll work out for everybody, but we'll have to see. Join the conversation, 303-696-1971. Text us at the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Goldbrick texting in. The arguments for Greenland are basically non-existent and painfully stupid to listen to. How much more international embarrassment and ruined credibility can this country take based upon a real estate huckster in office? Not a fan of Greenland. But I guess my question to you is, Mr. Goldbrick, do you see any threat to the North Pole with regards to Russia and China? And who's best to defend against that? Canada? Is the NATO alliance strong enough to be able to defend against that? Because we've talked about on this show, China wants Taiwan. They're moving forward. Russia wants Ukraine. They're moving forward. They're taking land. What are they going to do to the North Pole, and who's best to defend against that? Is the NATO alliance strong enough? Cap Hill Phil, okay, Jeff, if he does use military force against Greenland, what European charity will I donate to, and how much? Put some skin in the game with your optimism.
NATO is strong enough to keep Russia and China at bay, and it has done a fairly good job, not perfect, but better than us going it alone. The idea that we think we would be better alone than working with our allies, to me, it is a crazy place to be in 2026.
It is wild. Well, the debate will continue on the Jeff and Bill Show. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. We got Ty Winner coming up next. Assistant Minority Leader in the House. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader. We are KNUS.